I think with whole thing of Google thinking of like killing the third party cookies and more privacy in iOS, man, they're gonna force us to go for it and create good content. That's gonna be the whole direction. So just create stuff that is good.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of Behind the Upload. In this episode, we're going to talk to Marcus Bravo. Marcus is the head storyteller at LiveChat. In this episode, we're going to talk about Marcus's journey in creating a separate new channel for LiveChat called SUCCESS by LiveChat. We're also going to talk about some strategies for promoting videos on LinkedIn, and we're also going to talk about how to get started, especially if you just have an iPhone, and how he got started making YouTube videos with just an iPhone. As always, you can get show notes and resources at behindtheupload.com. And without further ado, enjoy the show. Thank you, Marcus, for joining me. I really appreciate it. So just want to tell me a bit about yourself and LiveChat, kind of just get a high-level overview.
Okay, so let me start with a short story from my side. I'm from Chile. I left the country when I was 20. I had an internship in Disney World that changed my life, and I said, I'm not going back to Chile. And after that, I moved to New Zealand. I started picking fruit, teaching Spanish, moved to Australia, teaching scuba diving. Then I got a job in Miami, traveled the world a bit. I met my wife in Miami. She happened to be Polish. We traveled a little bit around, and we said, let's give Poland a chance. And here we are, 6 years already living in Poland.
I know we were talking about video stuff, but I have to ask, like, what about Disney changed your life?
I think that planted the seed of marketing, like how every little thing that they do, it means something for the customer. Everything that they do is part of a plan. So nothing happened by accident. So they make sure that it's the happiest place on earth for a reason. So everything has to put a little piece in it.
Yeah, I love Disney as a model of just like of operational excellence and just creating an experience that like is completely immersive. Yeah, I think it's great. So that's really fascinating. Also the Miami. Yeah, I'm from Miami as well. So that's a fun Miami connection. Yeah. So tell me about LiveChat and how you got involved in LiveChat.
Just to make the story a little more crazier, I opened my own ice cream company right before the pandemic, and obviously it went bad. And I was thinking, what can I do? And I did a couple of podcasts and videos for some companies that, as a favor, and LiveChat happened to see some of those videos. They're like, all right, well, this guy has some communication skills that we can use. And they called me and said, look, we need someone for a project. We want to start making a lot more videos. So we'd love you to come over. Let's talk. Let's see what happens. And since then, for the last 2 years, I've been making videos and video strategy and webinars and basically everything communication for LiveChat.
Awesome. So can you give me a high-level overview? Because so LiveChat has, and you can correct me if this is inaccurate, but it has two channels. You have the LiveChat YouTube channel and then the SUCCESS by LiveChat. So can you walk me through sort of high level of like what this, what the video strategy is with these two channels, and then we'll kind of dive deeper into that. But what's sort of the overview of LiveChat's video setup right now?
So LiveChat, like most companies, they knew that they had to make video, right? So LiveChat's been around. Next year is going to be our 20th anniversary, so it's been around for a while. Yeah. And they started a YouTube channel. They needed to share some stuff. They get an animator and a designer, and they started putting video out. They started trying to make some things as LiveChat. But then we started growing with products. We have ChatBot, HelpDesk, KnowledgeBase, partner programs. We have a bunch of different things inside LiveChat, and we wanted to hit a different side of the funnel too. So we said, well, let's go top funnel. Let's just put stuff out that doesn't sell anything. It was really hard to sell internally that we didn't want to sell, but we just wanted to put value and knowledge and experiences and stories out that hopefully we're going to help people. And when the people that we're helping, eventually they're going to think, well, if I ever need something like LiveChat, it will be LiveChat.
What was the thought about creating a second channel versus just doing it all on one channel?
It had a lot of pushback in the beginning. People didn't want to say, like, we have 15,000 followers in the LiveChat channel, and why we're going to start a new one? But because we didn't know so many things, we said, look, we need to test it. Let's try it. In the worst case, we move all the content to the LiveChat channel. So it was sort of my my personal challenge to get 1,000 subscribers as fast as I could, thinking that was going to be easy. But it wasn't. It was not easy or fast to get, and you know it probably. And it takes a lot of work. So I started working, well, let's get the channel going. And I started inviting people personally in LinkedIn, like, hey, look, I started a channel with some cool videos that hopefully they're going to help you in some stuff. Just check it out. If you like it, subscribe. So I did a lot of manual work of inviting people to check it out. Hopefully, gracefully, they liked it. And they end up subscribing, and the channel keep growing little by little. And we're planning just to keep like putting videos as much as we can, and hopefully that will turn into the main top of the funnel channel. We're not going to replace the LiveChat channel. This channel is going to be for a different sort of audience.
Now, the content on the LiveChat channel is mostly tutorials or like how to use the software. Is that like an accurate description?
Yeah. I mean, we do some fun stuff once in a while, but it's mostly for the customer, for the one who already hooked in LiveChat and they need a little extra help. We have a couple of sales demos in there and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right.
And then how would you describe the content on Success? And also, that's a good chance to also talk about, you have a bunch of different shows or series all under the Success channel. So if you want to talk about that as well.
So again, everything started like, well, Marcus, you're in charge. Do some stuff. And I mean, even though I did film school when I was young, that was 20 years ago, right? So everything I knew then is not applicable anymore. So I said, well, let's start with series. Let's try some different series. That we're going to do this series for that. So it will be something different to find inside the channel. So I was thinking more of not a YouTube channel with just content, but a real channel with different things in there here. So we tried the different formats. We bring in new formats every so and so, just to see what. To be honest, it's just test, right? It's to see what really sticks to people. What do they really like? What kind of content they're really engaging with, and then we started adjusting. But yeah, I mean the whole everything that we did in the channel, I would love to say we knew exactly what we're doing, but it was so much test that has to happen just for you to learn, like, wow, this works, this doesn't work.
What did you find that worked? And also, how are you sort of measuring success? Is it just by views? Is it people that click through and go to live chat? Is it like comment? Like what's your measure for success, and what did you find that worked well?
In the beginning, for me, subscribers, it was like the main thing, right? Like I wanted to have a lot of subscribers because it makes sense. Even though the channel was never meant to be monetized, so it's not something that we want to make money out, but still becoming a YouTube partner has little extra perks here and there, blah blah blah. But the whole sort of KPIs that we were looking at, views is always important, but it was more about the engagement. When we noticed that people were engaging, not only in YouTube, but for example, we will try the same video in LinkedIn, and suddenly LinkedIn would get 500-600 views out of a video versus an early video, I don't know, 200-300 views in YouTube. So, well, obviously we add those up, like something is working here and there. But to me right now is more about the number of people following the channel, is the ones that they watch, like not the subscribers, but the other people that they get to that content because they're looking for something like, I don't know how to do, I don't know, like public speaking. I need some tips, or
like
SEO,
how many
whatever.
views you get from search or from discovery, like how much of your traffic starts coming from those sources. Is that what you're saying?
That's the best part. That's the best. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's the best part. So like most of the traffic comes out of our subscribers. It's not like we get probably 20% of the views are from subscribers, but the rest is just people looking for the content that we're putting out. And it's not easy because you see channels like, I don't know, like all the tech channels, when you cover certain products or things like that. Those are things that people look for all the time, but the things that we needed to teach were different. So it was a lot harder for us to like, well, who wants to really learn about the fish philosophy every day? But like maybe there's someone there who needs to know about the fish philosophy because they have a certain problem, and we had content for that. So it was quite a struggle to find out what are the real numbers that we needed to look for. But now it's more about the engagement. So when people come up, like make a comment, or people find us in different channels, they find us on LinkedIn here and there, and they talk to us. And that's sort of like, yes, we did something right.
And what did you find that did work well? I'm not sure if it's a format or what you talked about. Like, what did you find that worked well?
The short formats for us work well when we cover one subject in a very simple way, 2-3 minutes explaining what it is, and things that we really knew. I try to cover things that I didn't know very well, and I learned my. I never learned scripts, but I learned the material. I read about it, and then I talked about it. And then when I watch that, I'm like, I don't believe myself. I mean, I really don't buy it. Like I'm talking about stuff that I don't know, but stuff that I really knew. It made a huge difference. I mean, and you can see it in the views, you can see it in the engagement of the video. Like people really like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, versus sometimes that I didn't know what I was talking about.
Now, you mentioned a lot of this is about experimenting and testing. So you had a series or show, #journey. If you want to tell me about the show, and then when I was watching it, the show ended, and now it pivoted to something else. And so that seems to encapsulate this experiment and reiterate strategy that you're going with. So if you kind of want to tell me about that and sort of what the show was, what you discovered along the way, and how that changed.
So what we did with Journey, we needed to bring some. From the moment that I started, I wanted to have someone else eventually with me, and we looked for some people, and we found Kaya. She's the co-host of the channel, right? And when she joined, she was a completely different person. She was a super cute, bubbly sort of influencer vibe, and we wanted to give. Okay, well, you're going to create your own show about your own journey into working in live chat and finding your way, blah, blah, blah. And she grew so fast and so well that there was no point to keep going through this journey. Like she wanted to take over, like, well, I can talk about things now that in a different way, like with so much more confidence and knowledge, and I can prepare myself. Most of the editing, she does it herself. So it literally the journey finished. So we said, like, we don't have anything else to say in this format. Let's turn it into a format. And she created her own stuff. Like now she talks about the inside of customer service or customer support in different companies. And that's a lot more niche, but she feels so comfortable about it that it makes total sense.
I think it's a good example of seeing what worked, or also just her as a content producer, being able to pivot and do something else. One thing that was interesting, though, and this kind of ties into how do you figure out what type of topics to make videos about? Because looking at your most popular videos, half of those videos were from Kaya, and they talked about something that was sort of like a trending topic at the time. So Cyberpunk 2077, Elon Musk, and I know another one. Animal Crossing. So those are all kind of trendy topics.
Yeah.
Has that factored into the type of content you make, or like figuring out what type of videos you want to make?
To be honest, we thought about those. We like the way I saw it. I always imagined Kaya being like. So if we were top of the funnel, she will be top of our little funnel. She will be like the sort of like bringing the hot topics. So like just casual conversation. And by the way, we have more content that Marcus is doing there. It's more specific, but go and check it out. So that was sort of the dynamic that we wanted to put with Kaya, putting really hot topics. But little by little, we started sort of walking away from that approach, because even though we got a lot of views and people hooked into this content, they didn't stay with us. Mm-hmm. They didn't really check most of the other stuff that we were doing, because it was a different niche. Like people looking for Cyberpunk. I mean, we put that video out like perfect timing. Kaya even she bought Cyberpunk stock the day before they put CD Projekt Red stock the day before Cyberpunk came out. So she was super into it. But yeah, I mean, it was good content. It's fun. It's easy to digest, but it was not the people that we wanted to stay with. So that's why we also sort of keep moving from it.
Yeah, I think that could be an alluring thing, where if you make stuff about trending topics and you get those views, but it doesn't actually convert to people that subscribe to your channel or go to your website, or, are potential customers, then it's like, doesn't really matter. It's just sort of like a vanity metric.
Exactly. And after all, even though we could go to the company and say, look, like we have, our numbers are beautiful, but we're not doing anything. We're not really helping the company. So we really wanted to make a difference. And look, even if Also, we had to explain them, like, if we wanted to stay with the people that we want, is going to be a very or a much smaller number than like channels with million views, right? But that's not our business. I mean, we're not selling to everyone. We have a niche, so let's focus on that people.
Do you want to tell me about your podcast as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, we started Incoming Chat when everybody was making podcasts. I mean, everybody's still making podcasts. I started my own podcast after that too. But it's fun. I mean, I love it. It's like therapy. Like I just talk all about my life and things like that. So we wanted to make a podcast, and I had a lot of friends that they live here in Poland that they're doing very interesting stuff. So I said, look, let me make a list of 10 people. Let's make 10 episodes. We didn't even have the right equipment at that time. We were just improvising with whatever we had, and start picking up. It's not that we get tons of hundreds of views, but we get so much content out of that. I mean, we can slice each podcast in hundreds of little pieces and put them all around the internet, and they all make sense because they were very, very well thought interviews. I mean, we brought people like, all right, you're a social media manager for a video game company. We have a lot to talk about. You're a VC fund, investor relations, whatever. So we had really cool things to talk about, and then the best part is just that you end up with so much content. You end up with growing your network. I mean, I keep learning so much from people that I interview all the time. So it's a great experience, and little by little you also you create a brand too, because not too many podcasts survive for that long. So I mean, we are in almost episode 30. That's a lot. That's a very old podcast.
Yeah, I know, making it past. I mean, I started a podcast like 10 years ago, and we got like 4 episodes in. Yeah, I kind of kicked myself down. I'm like, if we kept it with it over 10 years, we were way ahead of the curve. Like, we would have been huge by now. But yeah, it's a lot of work. And yeah, it didn't. We didn't stick with it. But yeah. 30 episodes is great. When did you decide also to include video in the podcast? Because you also have this as YouTube videos, and you have a very nice video setup. So when did you realize, we should also turn this into a video component?
If I remember well, I think it was the other way around. I was like, well, let's have, like, I didn't want to have a video by myself. So like, let's invite someone and talk about it. Cool. And then like, wait, what if we do it podcast style? So we have like the headphones and the microphones, like really podcasty looking. And then when we were done with that, we're like, well, we actually have a podcast right here. So why don't we just start putting it as a podcast too? So it was sort of the other way around. The podcast was born out of the style that we wanted to bring into the video.
So it was like an interview show, and then you're like, well, let's turn it into a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have the material. Why not?
All right, very cool. And now with all the videos in general, can you walk me through, I kind of like break down just the tech stuff, like what kind of gear you're using, what's sort of the gear, software, stuff like that?
So in the beginning, we started shooting in the office, like most people, like most companies, right? But eventually the company decided to invest a little bit in an office and turn it into a studio. So we have a very specific place that our video producer turned into like better acoustics and stuff like that. For example, for the podcast, we use 2 cameras, 2 Sonys, Sony Alpha and Sony 6500. And for the general shot, we use an iPhone because the iPhone, I think it's iPhone 12, because the video is great. So we have that one as a general shot, like a wide shot, and then cameras for each one of us. For microphones, we use a Sennheiser shotgun for most of the videos, but we also have Rode Procaster for the podcast. The rest is that we edit everything in DaVinci Studio, and I think that's about it. And we record the video, the audio in Zoom H6.
Okay.
See, I did my homework.
I'm curious about using DaVinci, because I've been hearing more and more of more people shifting to using that. What were the thoughts about using that for editing?
The thing is, our video producer, he was very into color correction. That was his favorite thing of post-producing, right? So he started practicing with DaVinci, and then we was like, all right, well, we're going to need Final Cut or something. Like, he said, well, DaVinci has everything that the others won't have, and I already know how to use it. And I started using it right after too. So like, he showed me like the basics, and now if I do my stuff, I do it with DaVinci, because It's free.
Yeah, they have a very good marketing program. Use our software for free, and if you want to use it professionally, then you just pay the upgrade fee. But yeah,
Then you pay, yeah.
it's a great, yeah. They've got Blackmagic has a great model. Now, how?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
and we use a couple of Blackmagic stuff for if you do live sessions. I think we have a Blackmagic switch.
The
which
ATEM.
is also very cool.
I think I saw it in one of your videos. The little, yeah, I have one somewhere around here. Yeah, those things are great. Would you use that just if you're doing live streams?
Yeah, we only use it for that because all the rest, our video producer rather to shoot everything and then just edit piece by piece video, like grab all the different feeds and do it in DaVinci afterwards.
So how many people are on the behind the scenes on the team? You mentioned a video editor. You have very kind of dynamic animations like for your intros, for your videos. So who else is there another graphic designer doing that? Is it same editor?
We get to borrow the people from LiveChat. So LiveChat has a whole design stuff just for everything that they do, right? Websites and everything. So one of the guys is also an animator, actually mainly an animator. So in the beginning or anytime we do something new, we just go to our designer, like, look, we need a logo or some elements that were like popping up, like, cool. He designed a couple of things, give it to the animator, make a cool intro. But after that, it's just me, the video producer, and Kaya. It's a team of 3 doing all that. Like when we set up things and most of the editing and everything, it's just a team of 3, which, I mean, even though we do have good equipment, most companies really think like, wow, like if we're going to video, we're going to need so many more people. Like, no, you can bootstrap it, how they say. But
yeah, I mean, even, you've displayed, you could use the iPhone. You're already using that as one of your cameras, and DaVinci Resolve is free. So like half of your setup, you already have everything right there with stuff that people probably already have. Maybe buy a nice microphone, and add on to it, or in a Zoom or something.
That's something. Like even the one I'm using now, the thing I think I paid less than $100 for it. It's a Behringer.
Those things are good.
And I'm using it with
is it an XLR that's going into your computer, like through
one of these? Yep. No, actually, it's full on with the interface.
Oh, no, is that a USB?
But I also paid less than $100 for this.
Oh, that's good. All right, we'll put that link too.
No, it's not USB. It's a full XLR into a USB interface. It's pretty cool.
Now, I did want to ask also. So once you have the videos done, what's your thought process behind thumbnail creation, metadata? Are you using any tools as far as like keyword research or optimizing the metadata around it? Have you discovered anything with like what type of thumbnail styles work better? Can you walk me kind of through what your process is with that?
So for the thumbnails, the first thing we did, it was literally watch a video on YouTube about how to make good thumbnails. And but yeah, I told the designers, like, look, just give me the templates, give me things, and I will take care of the thumbnails. And Kaya also got a couple of tools. I think it was PicMonkey or something like that. And she started just creating her own stuff. But we, like, even in the video that we put a video out about making video and making thumbnails, we sort of use the basics, like have a big face, have a catchy title, and contrasty colors, right? I mean, there's no much science behind. The only thing that we didn't want to do is just try to put stuff in the titles in there that they're just clickbait, right? So we stay away from that. We create thumbnails ourselves. I do have a meeting with our SEO expert once in a while. Look, we're going to make a video about this. Do you think it has potential? And he will do a small research or point me in the right direction. And nowadays I'm also using Surfer SEO, and they have a little add-on for Chrome. So I just put it in there, put some search in Google, and it will give me a bunch of different options and different search intents. But that's basically it. I mean, I try to keep it very simple. I love SEO, but I don't like to write for SEO. I tweak a word or two in my descriptions, but otherwise, the video is about what it is. I'm not trying to create just for hitting Google.
Actually, I interviewed Tomas from Surfer SEO for the first episode. And he mentioned an interesting thing where he said you could use Surfer to write your content description, your YouTube description, by just shortening just instead of like the target number of words, you just make it like 500 instead of the 2,000 that it'll recommend. And then you can kind of use that as a easier way if you're targeting a keyword to write out your description and, try to optimize your description for YouTube.
It's definitely a great tool.
Yeah.
And they keep making it better. I mean, I talk to Tomasz every so and so in LinkedIn, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff in there. I mean, I'm also a friend of Tim. I mean, not friends, but we know each other from online with Tim from Href, which is also a great tool.
Yeah.
But but nowadays I'm playing around with Surfer a lot.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, we talked about thumbnail. I was just curious though if you did find that something worked better thumbnails wise, or just kind of keeping it simple.
I try to keep it simple, but I was surprised. We have a series called Raw, which we basically take a screenshot out of the video and still works well. There's nothing else, just like it will be, for example, this frame, just me talking, and we just make that into a thumbnail. No titles, no animations, no nothing in between. It's just a quick screenshot from the video. And sometimes just it's a good mix of having a good title or a good thumbnails. If you have both of them, great. But like you probably know, it's sometimes a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you create a thumbnail based on whatever, like I don't feel like it, and then wow, it's the best thumbnail you ever created.
Or you see some videos go viral and they have like no thumbnail and it's just some random thing that froze. And it's like, all right, well, what do we know? Once you publish,
right?
Once you publish, do you have any kind of sharing model, distribution model that you found worked as far as like how you get the video out? I know the videos also live on your website, so I don't know if you found that helps people find it, if that's just sort of keep your website organized. How do you like promote it after?
So the website stays there because that's how our blog plays, right? And we obviously have the videos there, but YouTube started picking up so well that we decided to focus more on YouTube. And distribution wise, in the beginning, for the first year, we only focus on creating. We'll make a video and we'll post a video out in social media, right? It worked really well to have a good network in LinkedIn, because if you have that, you can put a little preview of your video and your network will promote itself, or they start liking it. It will go around LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn for me at least is a great tool of distribution. But nowadays, what I want to do, I want to slow down with creating content. I want to go back to the stuff that we have and try to like slice up everything and start using it and repurposing. So we can see like if there's a big difference, all right, well, new material versus old material, what's working better, what's working worse. But I mean, there's so much material there that it'll be a shame just to let it die. I have some videos that they got 50 views and I never really promote them well. I was like, what if I go back and put it again? Maybe I'll get some more views.
Right. When you say, can you tell me more about your LinkedIn strategy? Are you sharing the YouTube link? Are you uploading a shorter version of the video? Are you uploading the entire video? What's that look like?
So I try a few things, but what worked the best was to put a little preview. So I will slice the video and just a little bit, and I'll upload it natively, and then say, well, if you want to watch the whole video, go to YouTube, link in the comments. So I try to click all the boxes with like all the best thing to do on LinkedIn. Just send people there. But sometimes I don't even feel like doing all that, so I will just put the link, and sometimes it works well too.
Yeah, I hear mixed things of sharing content on LinkedIn or Twitter, where it's like, okay, if you like post a link to another site, they're like, we don't really want to promote this as much as you uploading content natively to our platform. No, just kind of overall, do you have any, I know you have a video on kind of starting a video marketing strategy, and it's kind of a very thorough step-by-step guide. Do you have any kind of just general tips or things to share here that you think is useful, like useful takeaways?
I think the best, it's going to sound super cliche, but the best thing is just to start. Grab your phone, start recording yourself, because then you're going to lose the fear, and you're going to find your own style. And it's going to help you also to be more authentic in camera, because a lot of times you see people in YouTube that you're like, oh my God, you're literally a different person. You're not being yourself. And you can tell when people do that. But when you're authentic and you find your own style, you feel comfortable in your own skin, you just grab the camera and start talking. Because eventually, little by little, don't worry about the results yet. I mean, just do stuff. And then you learn so much in that little process that when you have to do stuff that is maybe higher level or more important, it'll be a lot easier.
I think that goes back to what you said earlier also of talking about stuff that you are knowledgeable or passionate about versus talking about stuff that you think people want to hear about, but maybe you're not an expert in it, so it doesn't come off as authentic because you're trying to be something that you're not.
Exactly. I still there's one video that I have in my channel that is about SEO. Oh my God, like every time I watch it, it's cringy. And I don't want to delete it because I know I want to watch it just to remind me, don't ever talk about things that you don't know. just please.
We won't link to that one in the show. So we won't have that link.
No. Please don't. I'm sure people will find it anyways.
And now what are just kind of some closing thoughts? What are your general thoughts of just direction things are going with brands and having like a media arm or just a media presence? Like this separate channel, it is Success by LiveChat. So it seems like a kind of like a separate media entity with its own shows. What are your general thoughts of like where things are going in general?
I love the way media is taking over, right? Media is video especially is becoming so important for companies to talk like face to face with the customer. But what I think is really, really making a big difference is not pushing, but encouraging your people to talk about your own brand, like personal branding. Let them create the personal branding, help them out to put content out themselves, or even create content that they're willing to share. Because if you see people just retweeting something that the company said, that you know that my social media asked me to do that. But when they're passionate about things that you do, like I don't know, you did a trip or you did a huge feature for the product, and they're very proud of it because you're pointing out like, look, we're doing this as a team, and you're encouraging them just to create their own personal brand because it's going to be good for them for the future too. But people wants to see that. They want to see people sharing their company. They want to see people behind the company, people behind the product, and see if the values of the people behind the products also matches their values. But I think it's going in the right direction. I think with whole thing of Google thinking of like killing the third party cookies and more privacy in iOS, man, they're gonna force us to go for it and create good content. That's going to be the whole direction. So just create stuff that is good.
Yeah, I think that's always the best lesson. I mean, you create good content, you build your audience, and now your audience follows you because you're putting out good content. Well, thank you so much, Marcus. I really appreciate your time. And where can people find out more about you, find out more about the channel?
Definitely about me. I spend most of my time in LinkedIn. So Marcos Bravo, there are not that many Marcos Bravo in there. So just go and find me there. Happy to connect with everyone. Go to Success by LiveChat. Check it out. We have tons of videos in there. We have our podcast Incoming Chat that you can find in most everywhere, basically. And yeah, and check what we're doing in LiveChat. I mean, we're doing a lot of things, and there are a lot crazy things coming very soon that they're gonna turn the company in a different animal, which we're very proud of it. So yeah, just keep an eye. Find me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and happy to connect.
That's great. That's very exciting. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever. If you enjoyed this episode, a big thing you can do is leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That will help get the show higher ranked and get more people discovering the show, and that will let us make better content for you in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.